Okay, take out a banknote. Anyone, look at it. You probably assume your government made this. It didn't. The truth is stranger. Most of the world's cash is printed by a tiny handful of private companies. Names you've never heard of, working behind razor wire under conditions closer to a weapons plant than a print shop. Some of them print money for dozens of different countries at the same time, in the same building. This is the hidden industry behind the money in your pocket. And right now, quietly, the ground beneath it is shifting. Okay, here's the first thing outsiders get wrong. They picture a national mint. One country printing its own currency, end of story. For a few big nations, that's true, but most countries don't print their own money at all. They outsource it. They hand the job to companies like De La Rue, a British firm that has produced banknotes for more than 100 countries. Or to Giesecker and Devrient, a German company almost no one has heard of, which quietly booked over 3 billion euros in sales in a single recent year. Sit with that for a second. A private company, printing the national currency of states on the other side of the planet, helping decide what their money looks like and how hard it is to fake. These firms don't advertise, their factories don't have signs on the road. Visitors are vetted like they're entering a military base, because functionally they are. The thing coming off that production line is the single most copied, most attacked object on Earth. And the barrier to entry is brutal. To print secure money, you need the paper, or the polymer, the specialist inks, the security features, and the one thing almost no one on Earth can build for themselves, the press. Okay, because here's the part even most finance nerds miss. Even the great banknote printers don't build their own machines. They buy them, and the number of companies on the planet that can build a real banknote press, you can count on one hand. At the center of that tiny club sits a German firm founded in 1817, Koenig and Bauer. For most of 2 centuries, if you wanted to print serious money, the road led back to Germany. What makes these machines special is a method you've felt 1,000 times without noticing. Run your finger across a banknote. Feel the ridges. The raised ink on the numbers, on the portrait. That's intaglio. Metal plates, engraved and pressed into the paper under enormous force, leaving ink you can actually feel. It's centuries old. And it's still here for one reason. It's extraordinarily hard to fake. A home printer lays ink down flat. Intaglio carves it into the surface. Your fingertip can tell the difference even when your eye can't. A single complete banknote line can cost more than $10 million. From the first order to a working factory can take 2 to 3 years. This is not an industry you walk into. For 100 years, only a few players held the keys. Right, held, past tense, because that grip is loosening. For decades, the presses came from Europe. Now, a Japanese company is moving. Komori, as founded in 1923, long known for commercial printing, has been pushing deeper into the world of security printing. In 2023, it opened a dedicated security printing center in Japan, a clear statement of intent. Machine by machine, contract by contract, after a century of European dominance, a new competitor is expanding, and the market is watching to see how far it goes. None of this makes the news. There are no headlines. It moves in the quiet language of tenders and factory acceptance tests, invisible from the outside. But if you know where to look, the direction is unmistakable. The old map of who prints the world's money is being redrawn. And there's one more player, the biggest of all. And most people forget it completely. China. China prints more banknotes than any nation on Earth through a state giant called CBPM. China Banknote Printing and Minting. The scale is hard to picture. Billions of notes feeding the largest cash system on the planet. For now, mostly for itself. China prints China's money, but here's what makes people in this industry pay attention. China doesn't only print notes, it builds its own presses. It already holds, in-house, the technology that took European firms 2 centuries to perfect. Which leaves one quiet question. The one the industry doesn't say out loud. What happens the day Beijing decides to sell those presses to the rest of the world? A country that could hand a central bank the entire package, the machines, the features, the finished notes, at a price Europe simply can't match. That day hasn't come, but almost no one in this business believes it never will. So, why should you care who prints the money in your wallet? Because this quiet industry is where trust in cash is manufactured. The reason you can hand a stranger a piece of paper and they take it without a second thought. That trust is engineered, deliberately, by these companies. Every watermark, every color-shifting number, every ridge under your finger is a defense in a war against forgery you never see. And it's all under pressure. As the world goes cashless, the volume of notes is falling. Central banks are ordering fewer machines, and the presses themselves are classed as dual-use goods, the same category as weapons technology, with the licenses to sell them across borders tightening every year. So picture the table, a shrinking market, European makers who ruled for a century, a Japanese challenger moving fast, and a Chinese giant that could one day rewrite the whole game. The money in your pocket is the product of that fight. Most people will never know it happened. Now you do. Next time, how a single company can print the money for 100 rival nations, none of whom trust each other. Subscribe, and I'll show you where this gets even stranger.